The trial for a Holden man who police say hit a man in Brewer last July continued today.
Today, the jury heard from people who saw the accident and from the victim's daughter.
51-year-old David McKenzie faces multiple charges, including aggravated OUI and aggravated assault. He was arrested 5 days after the crash when police found his car at his home on Clark Hill Road.
State says surveillance video from high tide shows him drinking for 6 hours before he drove home and hit 87-year-old Ira Williams. The defense claims he didn't see him because it was dark and he was wearing dark clothing.
Williams' daughter took the stand today and testified about her father's injuries and the long-lasting effects from them. A photograph and testimony of an orthopedic surgeon confirmed one of Williams' injuries was an open fracture of his ankle, meaning the bone broke through the skin.
Witnesses testified when they heard Williams being hit. Someone said they heard someone yell, "Get off my car," or "Get it off my car." The defense questioned an officer about their response process, saying witnesses may have influenced each other's stories.
Later, a crash reconstruction report found damage on McKenzie's car was consistent with Williams making impact and rolling onto the windshield, and that alcohol slowed response time. The defense questioned lighting conditions at the crash site. The trial continues tomorrow.